Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of the Online Gathering Place. Welcome to everyone who's joining live. I would love to know where you are joining from. If you would like to let us know, say hello in the chat. And welcome if you are watching the replay. Tonight's episode of the Online Gathering Place, we will be doing some tapping meditation. And just to give a brief introduction, my name is Leah Petrucci, and I am a licensed mental health counselor and a holistic health and lifestyle coach. And these episodes of Online Gathering Place is a safe place to come on an online platform. We go live on multiple different platforms. I go live on my on my YouTube channel, which is called Holistic Healing Network, as well as my Instagram, which I am checking right now to make sure I am live. There's a little bit of an issue with Instagram, so we might not be going live on Instagram tonight, but at least we'll be live on two other platforms. Facebook, there's an Online Gathering Place Facebook page you can tune in live from. You can also tune in live on my Facebook business page, which is called Holistic Healing with Leah Petrucci. So several places to join live. And if you want to watch any of the replays of any of these episodes, you can go on my YouTube channel, which is Holistic Healing Network. And I'll repeat those details again at the end of tonight's session. So Online Gathering Place is a safe online gathering place to come, where we engage you in interactive activities relating to, or at least the ones that I do are relating to the mind and the mind-body connection, where I teach you ways to calm your nervous system, to reduce anxiety, and to boost mood. So tonight's episode, this is actually the first episode in a series of what are called tapping meditations. So I'm going to be teaching a series of different tapping techniques, and I'm going to explain what that is. If you've never heard of tapping before, I'm going to give a brief explanation of what that is. And then I'm going to give a demonstration of a couple of different tapping meditations. And I will explain when and how you can use tapping to boost mood and reduce anxiety and a whole lot of other things. So let's just dive into tonight's topic. So tapping, let me get my little notes going here. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about tapping, what is formally known as emotional freedom technique, or EFT is what the formal name for tapping is called. But we call it tapping because that's a lot easier to say, and that's how it describes what we're doing. It is a technique that was developed in the 1980s by a man named Roger Callahan by incorporating the mix of ancient Chinese acupressure techniques and combining it with modern psychology. So we're going to be doing two basic things. I'm going to be teaching you, there's 9 different tapping points that we're going to be using, and I'm going to teach you those 9 points. And then we're also going to be combining that with verbal emotional processing. And we'll get to that in a moment. But first things first, I'm going to teach you about the 9 different tapping points, and we're going to do them together. And what's nice about this is it's really easy to learn. Even if you don't get it the first, time or two, you will eventually pick up on these points. And of course, you can always go back and rewatch this video at any time. It will be housed with all the other Online Gathering Place videos in a playlist on my YouTube channel. And I'll go over that again at the end. So let's get started with the 9 different points. So the first point is called the karate chop point. And that is the fleshy part of the side of the hand, basically. So this whole piece of skin right here that ends at the pinky and the wrist. So anywhere in between here, you can tap with any however many fingers you would like. You can tap with, all 4 fingers. You can tap with 1 finger. You can tap with 2. It doesn't matter. And you can use either hand, just as long as you're getting some kind of stimulation. And the good thing about tapping as well is that you can vary the pressure. If you don't like the tapping, if that's too stimulating for you, then you can just touch and hold the point, touch and breathe, or you can rub the point. As long as you're getting that side, that area, some stimulation. And this side of the hand right here is we're getting the small intestine meridian, which is meridians are a term used in ancient Chinese medicine, referring to energy pathways through the body. And so this particular point on the outside of the hand corresponds, there's a pathway that goes, it's invisible, we can't see it, but it's a pathway of blood vessels and oxygen and lymph fluid that traces all the way to the small intestine. So, and also tapping this point can help with digestion, help the small intestine move things along. So that's the first point, it's the karate chop. Second point is eyebrow. So right where the crease of the eyebrow meets the bridge of the nose, right around that area there. And, again, vary it based on your comfort level. You can either tap it. You can tap both sides if you want. You can use multiple fingers if you want. Or you can just touch and hold. Or you can rub that area, whichever one feels good to you. So that's the second point, is the eyebrow point. Third one is the side of the eye, so the temple area right there. So you can tap that. We can do both sides if we want, or we can do one or the other. It all works. We can touch and hold, or we can rub, whatever feels good to you. And you can go back and forth between any of those types of stimulation, whatever feels good to you. Sometimes I don't feel like tapping. I just kind of just want to hold, just touch and hold that area. All right, the next point is underneath the chin. So I'm sorry, not chin, cheek, top of the cheek. So right along that cheekbone right there. So again, we can tap, we can touch and hold and breathe, or we can just rub that area. And what we're doing here is we're doing a lot of things. We're stimulating the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is our toxin elimination system. So you might even feel like your sinus is draining a little bit from this point. You might even feel some swallowing, that salivating a little bit more. It's generating more saliva. That's good. That means that things are flowing, they're doing what they're supposed to do. And it's also sending a calming message to the brain to calm down the nervous system, sending a calming message to the part of the brain called the amygdala, which is our fight or flight, controls our fight or flight response. And so this is sending a message to the brain to calm down. So that's what that's doing on this point. Next point is underneath the nose. So that mustache, along the mustache line. And you can go this way, or you can go to the side. All right. Next point is the chin. So the crease of the chin, not necessarily the bottom, but the middle. And you can do it sideways here. If you have long nails like I do, you can go to the side, or you can go directly like this. And again, if you don't want to tap, you can just touch and hold, or you can just give it a little bit of a rub. Right there, I just gave it a rub and I immediately swallowed. So that's an indication that things are flowing as they're supposed to, and the nervous system is kicking in. What's happening is our nervous system is downshifting from the sympathetic nervous system, which is our stress response, shifting down into the parasympathetic response, which is our relaxation response. Rest and digest, as we sometimes call it. Rest and digest, or healing. detox. So that's an indication. A couple things we're going to be looking for to know that that's what's happening is we might notice that we're swallowing more. We might notice more salivation. We might yawn. We might sigh like, we might have that spontaneous breath. Our muscles might start to relax. So all of those things are indications that we need to be aware of. That is proof, is evidence that our nervous system is downshifting from stress response to relaxation. All right, so let's go to the next point, which is the collarbone point. So right where the collarbones meet the neck, and a little bit down from there. And again, you can tap down just a little bit. You can tap that area, or you can touch and hold that area, or you can rub that area. As long as you're giving it some kind of stimulation. You can also take one hand and kind of tap like this. Whatever works, whatever feels good to you. Kind of experiment, and and you can also switch it up as long as that area is getting some kind of stimulation. There, I swallowed again. So I know that things are doing what they're supposed to be doing. All right. Next point is the side of the rib cage. Let me get down a little bit. So a couple inches down from the armpit. So ladies, like right where your bra strap is. And a couple ways you can do this. You can do it like this on both sides, or you could just do one or the other, or you could wrap around and do it like this, kind of give yourself a little self hug there. This is the spleen point, by the way, in acupuncture or Chinese medicine. So stimulating this area right here, you're stimulating your spleen, which the spleen really does get depleted of energy when we are in fight or flight response, when we're in a stress response. The spleen gets robbed of energy because the spleen is opposite of the acupuncture point. In Chinese medicine, there's masculine and feminine. If you picture yin and yang, masculine and feminine energy. So spleen is the opposite of triple warmer. Triple warmer was actually this point here inside of the temple. So they're always paired in Chinese medicine. It's masculine and feminine. So when we're stressed out, the spleen gets robbed of a lot of our energy. So a good way to just kind of give yourself some quick energy boost is just to tap or give stimulation to the sides of the ribs right there, which is the spleen is it on the right side, but giving stimulation to both sides is okay too. All right, and then the last point is top of the head. And again, you can tap, or you can touch and hold, or you can rub, whatever feels good to you. And there's lots of different variations of those points, but those are the basic 9 points. Just to give you an example, there's a way to vary for the karate chop point, for example. The basic way is just to tap the side, or you could take your whole hand and do this, or you could kind of get fists and get the side of the hands like this. There's lots of ways you can do this one. So sometimes the brain gets bored and wants to vary things. You could just keep it simple and just tap the side, or you can do a couple variations like I showed, or you can go to the side like this and get the sides of the hands and turn over and get the sides of the hands both at the same time. So a couple ways to do that. What I like about tapping is that you can vary it. It's not, one way and that's it. You can vary it up to make it work for you. So those are the 9 points. So moving on from there, so that's the body piece. So in doing the tapping, as we talked about, you're getting your nervous system to switch gears from that fight or flight response or that stress response and back down into that relaxation response. But we're also going to be doing a second part of that. We're going to be doing emotion processing verbally or mentally at the same time as we do the tapping. And I know it may sound like a lot, but bear with me. So, and I'm going to walk you through exactly what to say once I kind of give you an idea of what is behind this piece. So, basically, this piece is the emotion processing, the emotional freedom part. We're going to process our emotions out loud if possible. If you're at a place where you can't process out loud, then just think it to yourself. And we're going to incorporate something called a setup statement. So this is basically a cookie cutter type statement where you're given a basic formula, and you can stick to the basic formula if you wish, or you can vary it and make it and change it up and make it work for you. I'm going to give you an example of what the setup statement looks like, or what we say, what we're going to say as we're tapping. And this is what the setup statement looks like. At least the first part of it looks like, even though I feel, and we'll be tapping along. And again, we'll be doing that together in just a moment. But I just kind of wanted to give you an idea before we start. So as we're tapping, we're going to be saying, even though I feel, fill in the blank. And you're going to fill in the blank with an emotion. We are going to do a couple of scripts together. So we're going to do this evening, we're going to do a script on anger. We're going to do a script on sadness. And if we have time, we're going to do a script on grief. So let's just take, for example, let's say we're doing anger. We would say, even though I feel angry about, and you want to get as specific as possible. You want to say why you're angry. Even though I'm just really angry that my friend canceled our plans. Even though I'm really angry that my friend canceled our plans. And then what's the second part? The second part, oh, by the way, emotions that you can choose from. There are many, but here are some examples. You could pick, even though I feel sad, even though I feel angry, frustrated, irritated, discouraged, disappointed, or ashamed. Those are just a couple of examples. We're gonna go with the angry example for this one right here. So we're gonna say, even though I feel angry that my friend canceled our plans, I accept or acknowledge, whichever one you prefer. I accept this emotion and I am open to processing it. So that's how we start. And that's just the start. You'll see in a moment we're going to add on. But we always start with the setup statement. And we usually start on the karate chop point, and then we go from there. But that's not all set in stone. Again, tapping is very flexible. It's not a rigid technique. You can switch it up and make it work for you. You can do whatever you need to do to make it feel good for you. But as I will be teaching it, we're going to start with the karate chop point. So that's one example of how we can end the setup statement. Here's another example of a way we can end the setup statement. Remember, how we start it is, even though I feel, fill in the blank, and we're using the example right now of angry. Even though I feel angry because blah, blah, blah. Here's another option. I choose to relax in this moment. So we can be tapping and we can say, even though I feel angry because my friend canceled our plans, I choose to relax in this moment. That's one example. That doesn't resonate with you, or you just not feeling that one. Here's another example. Even though I'm feeling angry that my friend canceled our plans, I am learning to love and accept myself and my emotions. So we're just kind of acknowledging that we're having these emotions. We're not trying to change anything yet. In the beginning, we are just setting things up, and we're just acknowledging that we have this emotion. A lot of times people try to talk us out of having our feelings, or we may try to talk ourselves out of having our feelings. We may try to change that frown up and put that frown upside down, but maybe a little too early before we really have acknowledged that we feel some type of way. And that's really important, is to acknowledge we are emotional human beings, whether or not we like that, or whether or not our society has accepted that. That is the fact of, by design, we are human beings, and by design, we have emotions. And when we don't process those emotions, we don't let the body process those emotions, and we don't allow the nervous system to switch from that fight or flight presentation when we feel those intense emotions to the relaxation state of being, then we're going to we may hold on to those emotions, and they're just going to circulate. They're just going to recirculate. And then they can come out in ways like and manifest in physical symptoms, maybe gut disorders, maybe migraines, pain, maybe pain and inflammation. When we don't process our emotions, there can be physical consequences, and of course emotional consequences, because we're holding on to that emotion and we're not processing it appropriately and in a healthy way through the body. It's going to sit there. And this is a great way to release emotion. So there's another option of the setup statement, is even though I'm feeling fill in the blank, I'm learning to accept myself and my emotions. Another example is, even though I'm feeling fill in the blank, I give myself permission to process and then release this emotion. So I think you get the idea that the setup statement is really about acceptance, is identifying the emotion. What is it? Sometimes we don't know, and that's okay too. It can be, even though I'm feeling some type of way and I don't know what it is, I am willing to process it. That's a really easy way to handle that. If you're not sure what it is, sometimes it comes out as we go along. So that is the setup statement. Now, the rest of tapping, I am going to make it really easy, and I'm going to read a script so you don't have to figure out what to say. Once you get used to tapping and you get the idea, then you can better understand what you can say. And that's the biggest thing that I hear from my clients is, well, I don't know what to say. And that's where scripts come in handy, like the ones we're about to do. And stay tuned until the end of the video. I'm going to share with you a wonderful resource that makes things super easy to do tapping. So stay tuned to the end to hear all about that. So what I'm going to do right now is pull up the scripts that we're going to use for this evening. Just bear with me while I pull it up. All right. So the first one we're going to do, let's stick with the example that we did on anger, and let's just do that one. In anger, you don't have to necessarily feel like full-blown anger. You can feel irritated, you can feel frustrated, you can feel flustered, any one of those relating emotions that kind of falls under the umbrella of anger, that works as well. All right. Got my little script here. You might see me kind of looking off to the side every now and then. I didn't want to have it on this screen because I wanted to continue making contact with the audience. So let's take a deep breath and let's rub hands together. I always like to start that way. And what I am going to ask you to do is think of something that has happened recently that has created a sense of either anger or resentment or frustration or irritation, and bring that to mind and rate your level of anger or whatever the emotion is that relates to that. Rate it on a scale of 0 to 10. So 0 is, nothing, and 10 is like the worst anger I could imagine. So give it a number, and then we'll re-rate after we do this particular exercise. Actually, let's find that one. Okay, and let's go ahead and start. on the karate chop point, just like I showed you before. Repeat after me if you can. If not, that's okay. Just think it out loud in your mind. Even though I feel all this anger about this particular situation, I accept myself and how I feel. Even though I feel all of this anger in my body, I acknowledge this feeling and allow my body to relax. Even though I feel this anger in my body, I am open to letting it go. So there's examples of 3 setup statements. And you'll notice that they were similar, but parts of them were different. All right, let's go on to the eyebrow point now. And again, you can tap, you can touch and hold, or you can rub, whichever you choose. And you can also do both sides if you wish. I'm going to just do one for now. And repeat after me. All this anger about this situation, whatever it is, and I just feel it in my body. It really makes me angry. I can't believe that this situation has happened. Okay, let's go to the side of the eye. All of this anger in my fill in the blank. Where do you feel it? Do you feel it in your stomach? Do you feel it in your head? Do you feel it in your chest? Do you feel it in your back? I'm so angry, I'm not sure that I can let it go. Okay, let's go to the cheek, top of the cheek. I'm so angry, I'm not sure that I can let it go. This anger is so frustrating and it is wearing me down. All right. Now I want you to just listen. No need to say anything here. Just focus on my words. Don't worry about saying anything here. Just reflect. And I want you to focus on the situation that is causing you the most anger and frustration right now. And just notice how that feels in your body. Maybe notice different areas of your body that feel tense or tight or discomfort. Okay, now let's tap underneath the nose. And go ahead and play out what happened in your mind as we tap along. What happened that caused this anger? And just continue feeling present and safe and grounded as you tap, giving yourself permission to just process that emotion. And just notice what your thoughts are about that particular situation that leaves you angry. And if you want to even say them out loud, you can. Okay, great. Let's go to the chin point now. And right here in this crease. All right. Starting to feel that you can let go and relax as you see, feel, and think about what it is that is making you angry and frustrated. Just being present in this moment and allowing the feelings that you have to just rise up. All right, let's switch to the collarbone point now. Beginning to feel safe now as you tap, allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to just release that anger. Just keep tapping And start envisioning what it would feel like to just let that emotion go. Just acknowledging that emotion and just noticing what it feels like to acknowledge that emotion. But it also, what does it feel like? Do you also feel calm at the same time? And that is what the tapping is supposed to do. So, in other words, we're bringing up intense emotion, sometimes emotions that make us uncomfortable, but at the same time, through this tapping, these different acupuncture points, we're sending a calming message to the brain that we're safe, we're grounded, we're okay. So it helps us to process these intense emotions by doing the tap or the rubbing or the touching, whatever stimulation feels the best for you. All right, let's go to the side of the ribs now. And now I want you to repeat after me, if you can. I was trying to protect myself by feeling this anger. Something just didn't feel right. But I am open to seeing this situation in a new way because this anger has just kept me stuck. All right, let's go to the top of the head now. So I am open to letting it go now. I am open to feeling powerful in a different way when I feel center and calm. I discover the clarity that I need. Let's go back to the eyebrow point now. I begin to see the situation in a new light. What was this experience trying to teach me? Was it trying to teach me that I can process intense emotions, but yet still feel safe in my body at the same time? I take in this lesson and I'm open to releasing the pain. Go to the side of the eye. I'm feeling more powerful and centered. I'm feeling more safe, more strong. Okay, let's go to the cheekbone now. Even before anything external changes, I'm open to feeling at peace right here and right now. Okay, let's take a deep breath in. Let's rub our hands together just to finish that out. And let it all out. Give it a shake. Let's shake it out. And sometimes I like to end by just holding hands over my heart, taking another breath in, and then re-rating your level of frustration and anger compared to when we started. Did it go down any? Did it go down a point even? Even if it just went down a point, that's progress. If it didn't go down at all, that's okay. Just keep trying, keep doing it. You can repeat this. You can repeat this as many times as you need. We're going to do another script. We're going to switch gears. And we're going to do one more. Actually, we're not going to have time for 3, but we're going to do one more. Let's see, which one do we want to do? We did anger, which was a pretty intense one. So maybe let's not do something as intense this time. Let's do disappointment. How about that? Disappointment can be a very tough emotion. So let's do that one as our second one, releasing disappointment. So, what I want you to do for this one is to picture a time recently, or it could be in the past, but recently is usually helps better because it's something that you can, more easily recall. Think of a time where you felt really disappointed. Maybe something you're currently feeling disappointed about that caused you to feel discouraged and make you, kind of feeling like, oh, I just want to give up. Disappointment. Maybe something didn't go the way you had hoped and you really felt discouraged. And rate that level of 0 to 10. And while we get ready for the second one, let's start by rubbing hands together again. Taking a deep breath in and out. And repeat after me if you can. Start by tapping the side of the hand. Remember, you can tap, you can rub. You can do this too, whichever you want. This reminds me of the hand jive from Greece. Want to hand jive, baby. Want to hand jive, baby. Okay, I digress. Side of the hand. It's the end of the day, y'all. It's the end of the day. And laughing is really good for the nervous system. All right. I'm gonna have that song in my head for the rest of the night. Okay. So repeat after me. Even though I am disappointed, I accept myself and how I feel. Even though things didn't turn out as planned, I acknowledge my disappointment and I accept how I feel. Even though I'm so disappointed, I accept how I feel and I am open to feeling calmer and more relaxed as I tap. So you see, we did the setup statement 3 times, and it was similar, but there were some variations. And you can choose to do that. Or it could be the same one 3 times. Whatever works for you. Okay, repeat after me. Let's go to the eyebrow point now. All of this disappointment, I can just feel it in my body. I feel like it was just bad fortune, bad luck. I really had my hopes up. Okay, side of the eye now. All of this disappointment, I feel it in my fill in the blank. Feel it in my gut. I feel it in my head. I feel it in my chest. Feel it in my back. And things just didn't work out as planned. And this disappointment feels like such a blow. I feel defeated and discouraged. Okay, let's go to the cheekbone. And right now, you don't have to repeat after me. I just want you to focus on my words. Don't worry about saying anything out loud here. Just simply reflect. And I want you to focus on what it was that was causing you to have those feelings of disappointment. Geez, if you hear the car alarm in the background. And just allow what happened to come to mind. Oh, it's not my car. Okay. So that's what happens when you go live. So just allow what happened, whatever that happened that was disappointing, to come to mind. And you're feeling safe and centered. And just notice all the emotions and thoughts that arise when you think about, when you recall that incident. All right, let's go underneath the nose. You're feeling calmer and more relaxed as you see, feel, and think about the situation that's making you feel disappointed. So even though we're recalling that moment or that memory, as we tap, we're sending a calming message to the brain, telling the brain to calm down. So we feel safe and centered. So it's easier for us to process through. A lot of times we don't want to process emotion because we're afraid it's going to overtake us. This really helps. Okay, underneath the chin now. And continue to be present in the moment and allowing any feelings that you have, any memories, any thoughts that you have to just pass on by, to just come up and pass on by. Just begin to recognize and release the feeling of disappointment as you breathe and let it go. All right, let's go to the collarbone point. And just ask yourself, am I allowed to release this feeling of disappointment? And just notice any resistance. Do you have any resistance to letting it go? Maybe there's still some unfinished business, and that is another reason why we tap. It's because we want to talk out or think it, any thoughts and feelings that we still might have. Like, this is a chance for us to process those thoughts and emotions. And the tapping helps to keep the nervous system calm. So we can do just that. And to simply just acknowledge the feeling, the thoughts that come with it. Whatever comes up is okay. All right, side of the ribs. And just imagine what it would feel like to release the stress and pain of the disappointment. You may still wish for things to have been different, but notice how it feels to just release the weight of the disappointment. What would life feel like if you could just let it go and feel hopeful that things will work out? Is that hard to let yourself go there? Or does the tapping allow you to do that? It's a lot easier for us to let go of emotion when we're in a relaxed, a rest and digest nervous system state, which again is called parasympathetic nervous system. All right, that's top of the head. Now repeat after me. Things just didn't turn out as planned, but right now and right here, I am okay and safe. Okay, eyebrow point. Everyone who inspires me has had moments of disappointment, and how they respond to that disappointment makes them inspirational. I choose to inspire others by not letting this disappointment hold me back. Okay, so the side of the eye. This was just a short chapter of a much greater story. I can wish that things were different. Let's go underneath the eye. I can wish that things were different while still having hope that something greater will come along. Maybe I'm being redirected to something even better. Okay, imagine. I replace the disappointment with determination. I've got this. All right. So let's take a deep breath in, rub hands together, let it go. And if you would like to end with hands on heart or hands on stomach or hands on legs, wherever is comfortable for you. And so I want you to re-rate that feeling of disappointment. Was it any better after the tap? Did it come down even just a point? Even just a point is progress. If it didn't, that's okay. You can always redo this at any time. And you can always take this and make it your own. As you're doing the tapping part, another thing that you can choose to do after the setup statement, after the 3 setup statements, just process, just talk, just, gosh, I'm so frustrating. I'm so disappointed. And this is why. And these are my thoughts. And say them out loud and process. If you can't, again, if you can't do it out loud, then just think it. Just allow yourself, almost like there's someone else in the room you're talking to. It's okay to talk to ourselves. I do it all the time. But it's a way for me to process my thoughts and emotions, especially when you live alone. That is, it's a great way to process thoughts and emotions. Just talk out loud. All right. So that is a demonstration of how to use tapping to process intense emotions. And you can use that for any emotion. Those are just 2 examples of scripts that I have. So I mentioned that I would share a great resource at the end of the video. So here is that resource. So because I hear oftentimes from clients when I teach them tapping and I ask them, how did it go? And they say, well, I didn't really know what to say. So these scripts really do help. And there's a couple of ways that you can get your hands on some scripts. There are scripts that you can purchase. There is an organization called the Tapping Solution, and they have an app that I absolutely adore. I have it on my phone, and I will place a special link in the notes underneath the video with a 50% off. If you use the link, that automatically gets you 50% off of their annual premium plan. It's normally around $99, but with the link, you can get it for only around $47. And it is wonderful. I have it. I use this app almost daily. There you have access to multiple tapping meditations, and it's plug and play. You find the one you want, you press play, and you follow along, and it tells you exactly what to do. It shows you exactly where to tap, tells you and shows you as you go along. It says the script just like I did here. So all you have to do is repeat after the voice. And they're very soothing voices. There's a female voice and there's a male voice. Actually, there's several female voices. They've added many different voices to the app. Tapping is helpful for so many things. It's helpful for processing intense emotion. It's helpful for financial wealth and abundance. It's helpful for health and wellness issues. It's helpful for eating habits and weight loss. It's helpful for limiting beliefs. And that is why I am kicking off today's episode of tapping. This is the beginning of a series on tapping. So every Wednesday, I do these live streams, on multiple platforms. And next week, the tapping is going to be about health benefits and weight loss, I believe. So how we can use tapping to help your weight loss goals and your health goals, so your health related goals. So even if you have no interest in losing weight, it is still helpful in making your health related goals. And the tapping solution app that I mentioned, that again, I will put the link in the notes, has many different tapping meditations on all kinds of health and wellness issues. So many different things, from autoimmune disorders to headaches, to gut issues, to asthma, to back pain, to so many things. And they're always taking requests. So if there isn't one that is on the app, all you have to do is make a suggestion and they will make one for you. So I hope you will check that out. By the way, you do get a 14-day free trial using that link. So you can decide before you buy if you want to, if it's something that is something that resonates with you and something that you want to, invest your money in. And if you do decide to get it, you get it for the whole year. It's definitely something I would want with me on a desert island. All right. So I hope that was enjoyable for you. Also, just to mention, if any of you are in need of any type of mental health counseling and you're in the state of Florida, I am a licensed mental health counselor providing mental health counseling. Typically for women, I do see some male clients if they fit the areas of specialization that I serve. If you'd like to read more about my areas of specialization, you can check out my website, which is leahpetrucci.com. It tells you all about my areas of specialization. And it also tells you about my health coaching. I have two virtual practices, one for mental health in the state of Florida and one for health coaching, regardless of where you reside. If you would like to schedule a free 30-minute consultation with me to see if I'm a good fit to help you one-on-one, again, you can check out my website, and there is a link to schedule a 30-minute consultation with me. So I hope to see you again in the future. Join me on these couple channels on Holistic Healing Network, which is, put it right there, my YouTube channel, where you can see all of the replays of any of these live streams that I have done. It's a really great way to have self-care time. Since this is guided self-care, it's a great way to press play, go back and watch any of the replays on the channel Holistic Healing Network. You can also turn on the notifications and get notified when I go live, when I do these live streams, which is every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope to see you again next week. Thanks a lot. Take care.